Hi everybody, this is Gijs again with another review and I hope you are doing well. This time it's a review on a pair of gloves, the Krut Gyora gloves to be precise. So if you are looking for a new pair of leather gloves or want to know why I use my glove most of the time when I'm outdoors, then you should definitely watch this video. Enjoy! And welcome to the review on the Krut Gyora gloves. But before I start with the review itself, I would like to thank my followers because I was quite surprised on all the nice comments that you gave on the review that I did on the Laken Universal handle. Because this video on this product I made actually because I failed to do this one. There was just too little time on that day. It was almost dark when I did that review. So this one saved me and I was like, is this going to be good enough? But yes, you liked it. So many thanks for all your comments. Now, for those of you who just tuned into my channel for the very first time, you might not know who I am, and it's polite to introduce myself. My name is Gijs. I am a Dutch outdoor gear and bike reviewer, and I do my work totally independent. So that means that manufacturers are not paying me for my reviews. And when I review a product and I like it a lot and I want to keep it, then I just ask for a bill. Now, what also happens is that I do sometimes reviews on stuff that I just bought on trips, on holidays. So that's something that you will find on my channel as well. Now, if you like what I do and want to support me at the end of this video, of course, then please subscribe to my YouTube channel and give the video a like. And also consider following me on my Instagram account and liking my Facebook page. Now, this was more like the commercial for myself setting. Let's go back to the Krut Gyora gloves review. Now, there is a lot to tell and a lot to talk about regarding these leather gloves. This review started basically with the review that I did on my Hestra gloves. These I bought in Sweden a couple of years ago. I did a review, and like in most countries, we've got distributors in countries of outdoor gear, and one of those distributors is the distributor of the Krut Gyora glove. Now, he contacted me if I knew the brand from Sweden and if I would be able or would be willing to test a pair. And I said, well, I'm always curious, so send me a pair, you get it back afterwards. So that's what he did. He sent me a pair of Krut Gyora gloves. Now, the important thing about this glove is basically that I know it is from Sweden. And when I got the gloves, I had the impression that these gloves from Sweden were also made in Sweden. Now, I'll tell you a little bit more on this later, or a lot more on this later, but this is how I started this reviewing process. Because most of the time I really like stuff from the Nordic countries because they make high quality gear. It's well designed, it lasts a long time. You see this pant, it's the Lundhak Authentic One pant. Most of the time you will see me in my reviews with a red one on. I get many questions on that one. I will do a review shortly on that one. But I like those Nordic brands for some sort of reason. Maybe because those people are simply a lot of time outdoors and they understand what they're producing. Now, the Krut Gyora gloves, in my head, they were from Sweden, and also in the head of the distributor, they were from Sweden. Now, the gloves themselves. They are made of cow leather, full grain cow leather, A quality. And I put them on my precise scale at home, and this pair is a size S, weighs 130.7 grams when it was new. I think they will be a little bit lighter by now because I've used them so intensely. The thing is, when I got them, and this is quite a good story if you like marketing, it comes in a nice waxy paper, and this paper, it smells a little bit oilyish. It's like fat-free paper that you sometimes use to, I don't know, you wrap steaks in it as well. Now, when you take them out of the package, and this is really something what is very clever, because this is what you get. The gloves and a sort of, well, little certificate that says something about how they are made. High quality leather, hand finished, special blend of wax, fats and oils. And that they will only get better when they are getting older, and that sustainability is at the core of the company that Krud is. And then they thank me for supporting old-fashioned craftsmanship. Sounds nice. Now, there's also this leathery thing on it with size S on it, so this is what it is. Now, the gloves, this is how they look when they are new. Sort of nice yellowish tint on them. There is a very nice eyelet over here, so that if you put the two together, you take a carabiner or a piece of rope, and then you can attach it to maybe your belt, your pants, to a backpack, so that when you need them, they're always in reach, which I think is very well designed. Now, let me put these aside, because they are not really important anymore for the story. Now, no, it's not totally true, because what they say also is that, and that's something that's on the website, that when you get them, the color, yes, you see all the different color variations. It's not one kind of yellow. It gets better when you wear them, and that's true, because it really looks nice and aged. I really love the look of the gloves. They also say that they are quite rigid when you just start wearing them. Yes, that's absolutely true. In the first weeks, they are absolutely not very comfortable. But after a couple of weeks, you get a glove that is, well, a little bit more from a two-dimensional shape into a three-dimensional shape. They grow to your fingers basically, and they are, well, very flexible by now. There's only one thing that I still don't like on the gloves, and that is on the inside. You've got this stitching. On the inside there is a piece of elastiband, and you can see already that after a year of use, the elastiband is, well, it's not totally in one piece anymore, but this is still not comfortable when I put the gloves on. It's always in the way. When they're on, it's not a problem, but it's like pushing through that part, and I simply don't like it. Now, back to the gloves itself. The rigid feeling has gone totally from a very new, fashionable look. They look like they've seen a lot of adventures, and that's absolutely the case. Because I use gloves, also the Hestra ones, and at home I've got many more gloves for a lot of stuff that I do in the outdoors. I hardly do anything without them. Simply because when I type articles, that's what I do, I'm a journalist, or when I write the scripts for these kind of videos, I need my fingers. So I'm very, very careful with what I do. A couple of weeks ago, I cut a piece of my thumb in the kitchen with a mandoline, if that's how you call it in English, to get vegetables in very thin slices. I forgot to put the thingy on top, and I lost a piece of my thumb. It's grown back by now, but now I need metal gloves for that one. But like I say, I use gloves most of the time for everything that I do. When I use the axe to chop some wood for the campfire, by the way, I've got a review on the Hultafors Abbey axe on my channel. Basically the same for the Yuko grill that you'll see over there. I've got many questions on that one. Is it still in one piece? Yes, it's still in one piece after 3 years. It's a little bit rusty by now, but it still does the job. And the same for the Laken thermos bottle I recently posted, and the Clean Canteen a while ago. So if you want to see more videos of what I do, then please hop over on my channel. Now, so yes, I like the gloves because after 1 year of use, they've proven to be very, very tough. They're still in one piece. I like using them. But now there is a little bit to tell, because remember I told you that I thought they were made in Sweden. Well, I got that idea because after the Dutch distributor pointed this brand out to me, I started reading on their website, and now I will have to take a little bit of paper. No, let me start with the glove, because on the inside of the glove there is this label. And this label says Krud Gyora Gloves, Quality Leather Goods, Sweden. Okay, it does not say made in Sweden, it does not say designed in Sweden, it does not say finished in Sweden, but it says Sweden. So I've got this idea, Sweden. When I get into the website, and now I'll have to get my piece of paper, because that's basically why I thought it was a Swedish brand, that they were made in Sweden. There is some information on some of their web pages, and I will read some. Take my glove off. This does not work. When you dive into the Crud website, you will read at the Crud philosophy page, because I'm always curious how manufacturers are thinking about their products. It says the following: Crud is a Swedish brand based on principles that are hard to find in today's throwaway culture. Everything that we create represents a commitment to simplicity, functionality, high quality and Swedish craftsmanship. Okay, so the philosophy page says Swedish craftsmanship. Okay, Swedish. Then it continues: our line of backpacks, bags and accessories are designed and made in Sweden from some of the finest natural materials available, giving you gear that will age with dignity and last a lifetime. Well, on the lifetime, I'm not totally sure, but a very long time, yes, absolutely. And dignity, yes, absolutely as well, because it's a very nice glove. But then it continues also on the leather page. Every piece of leather in our line of bags, packs and accessories comes from the Swedish Terensjö tannery. Now, the funny thing is that in my last holiday in Sweden this year, I was in Terensjö. I didn't know that there was a tannery, because otherwise I would have visited, of course, immediately. Now, because I thought this was made in Sweden and it was made also by the Terensjö tannery, I called them and they never did any gloves for Crud. They do accessories for Crud, but not the gloves. So then I sent an email to Crud headquarters and asked them, where are the gloves made? Now, the Gjora gloves, I got the answer, a phone call from Crud itself, and they told me that the Crud gloves were made in the UK. Okay, fine. It's still Europe. And then he said, but I will have to double check this. And then later I got an email, and that said that originally the Crud Gjora gloves, they were never made in Sweden, and they never said they were made in Sweden on the website, but that they were made not in Sweden, but they were made by the Ethiopian tannery something. I'll put it in writing there. And that the hides were sent from the UK, they were UK hides, to Ethiopia, to the tannery, and that they were made into gloves at the Ethiopian tannery. So I investigated this tannery. I called them, no telephone was picked up, and then I looked into all the small details. I looked onto the internet, did a day of research, and then I found a pair of gloves that looked very similar like these ones. And they were on the website of Pittards. And Pittards is a UK leather manufacturing company, and they own a lot of tanneries as well. So I wrote an email to Pittards, and I got an answer from the PR lady, Debbie. Thank you so much for being very, very spot on this subject. She wrote to me that yes, Pittards is producing the Crud gloves, and they ship them back to Sweden so that the Swedish can do this very nice 8-step finish on top of them. Now, this 8-step finish, I tried to ask Crud, what is it? Because if you send something back to basically Sweden for this special finish, and it's made out of oils and stuff, they're not explaining to me what it is. There are no pictures of it, they don't tell me how it's done. They only say that it is a very old thing that they put on there, and then in the email they write to me that it took months to develop. But I'm not really sure what they mean in this case. But Pittards is producing basically the gloves without the Swedish finish. But I don't know anything about production of gloves in Ethiopia. So I asked Debbie to arrange a meeting with me, and the CEO of Pittards, Reg Henke, we had a Zoom meeting. And in that Zoom meeting he explained to me that Pittards is already in Ethiopia for over 100 years, because in Ethiopia there is the biggest herd of a animal that is a mix between a sheep and a goat, and it's got a very special kind of leather that was used for fashion gloves back then. In that day it was not about money and low cost, it was about the best material for those fashionable gloves. So they produce a very nice glove. I also talked to Reg about, is this a craftsmanship or is this something different? No, he says this is not craftsmanship. This is just a very skilled workforce, because we've got many people doing sewing the gloves together. It's a skill that you can learn. It's not a craft, because a craft is more like, if you have a cow, you slaughter it, you make a hide, you get it into a tanning process, and then you manufacture basically the glove yourself. You do the finish, and that's really a craftsmanship. But that's more on words. So what happens in Ethiopia? They produce at Pittards high quality leather gloves that are very nice put together, and they ship them to Krut in Sweden, and that's where Krut does this 8-step process of finish. Okay, now on this last process I can think like, is this very sustainable? I'm not totally sure, because it's traveling more than I think it needs, because you can ship it from Ethiopia to local distributors and then to the consumer, or maybe to the consumer directly. But it's not my business, it's somebody made this choice. But sustainability wise, think about this. So it's not made in Sweden, and I want to really stress that they never said it was made in Sweden. But because of all the things around it, I got the impression, just like the Dutch distributor, that it was a glove made in Sweden. And I was wrong. Now, why do I make such a big thing about this? Well, in the first place, because Krut does on their website way more gloves than only this one. They do this one, by the way, also in a vegetable tent. This one is chrome dyed, but also in the vegetable tanning. That one is a bit cheaper, but is not with the finish on top. Something just for you to know. But they do a lot of other gloves, and all of their other gloves are made in the USA. And they put this on their website. If you look at one of the gloves, it says as a line, made in the USA, and sometimes finished in Sweden. With these, the Krut Gyora gloves, it only said finished in Sweden. So why didn't they not state there that it's made in Ethiopia? Is the US marketing-wise better, or is Ethiopia a low-wage country that you have something to think about if you look at the page? I don't know. But since I was beefing about this at Krut, they changed it by now, and now it's there. It's made in Ethiopia and finished in Sweden, which of course I do like, so people do listen to what I sometimes have as a criticism. But there's one other thing, and yes, they are fine gloves. They are still in one piece. I love the look of them, and they will last me more years, I think at least another 3. So yes, it's a very high quality product. But this high quality product that is made in Ethiopia, shipped to Sweden for the finish and then to distributors and consumers, retails in Europe for 126.26 cents. If you check Europe, you will see prices that are a bit higher. This is at the Krut website. Same for the pound price, £109.91. And the dollar price, $142.57. And to be totally honest, I think that's an awful lot of money for a pair of, in the end, is still a very simple workman's glove. You can buy similar gloves like this without the Swedish finish, but with an other finish, for way less money, and I'm not sure that they will perform less. I've got some garden gloves made from leather in my shed at home, and they did cost me about 20 euros. Not a beautiful story behind it, but they are in one piece as well. So the price, I think it is quite a substantial one, to be very polite. Now, because of the whole story that you just heard, I have a sort of a negative feeling on the Krut Gyora gloves. And also the price, it does not help. And therefore I rate the Krut Gyora gloves at 6.8 points out of 10 total. Now, I really hope you like this review and that it is useful to you. And if it is, then please give it a like and leave a comment below. If you've got any remarks, questions or suggestions, also please use the comment section, because that's what it's for, and I'm more than happy to answer everything that you can throw at me. Now also I would like to see some comment on the research that I did. Am I too negative on how they are produced and where they are produced? Please give me some feedback on that. Now, if you like this video, then also please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel, because with more subscribers I can make more videos, and thank you so much if you subscribe. Now, if you are not totally convinced after seeing this review, then please check my outdoor gear favorite playlist up here, because then you can see more reviews on what I like to do. That one is in there, the Hultafors X, the Clean Canteen, the Laken is in there. And of course the Hestra gloves, they are in that playlist as well. So go and have a look at that. And if you've done that and you liked it, then please subscribe anyway. Now, thank you so much for watching. Enjoy the outdoors and stay safe. Ciao, ciao! And now, since I've got my gloves, I've got my axe, I've got the wood, and I've got something to eat, and my coffee is cold by now, I'm going to make a campfire and enjoy the rest of the day on this beautiful campsite. And the funny thing is, it's one of the only 3 campsites that does winter camping in the Netherlands from the Forestry Commission, and I'm the only one here. Quite perfect. Bye.